This episode is sponsored in part by Ward Law Firm, with offices in Munford and Somerville, Tennessee. Ward Law Firm offers a full spectrum of legal services, including individuals, businesses, and entertainment law. Ward Law Firm is raising the bar with high-quality, efficient, and effective legal services. Call today or visit wardlawfirm.org. Also sponsored by Atoka Fitness Center. Atoka Fitness Center is a 24-hour access, state-of-the-art facility that offers tanning, classes, childcare, and more. Free weights, cardio machines, strength machines, co-ed, and women's-only areas are just a few of the amenities offered for one low monthly price. Visit atokafitnesscenter.com for more information or call 901-840-4900. From beautiful Memphis, Tennessee, join us for Get the Part. Whether you are an actor auditioning for your first play or an actress being cast for a major motion picture, stay tuned where we will help you get the part. And now, your host, Jeff Yarbrough.
Hi, welcome to the first edition of Get the Part. Our first guest today is Heidi Kuhn. She's the owner of Model Mastery, a business developed to provide training and education in model artistry. She is a published model, working in the field for 40 years. She must have started when she was 5. She did, starting at the tender age of 5, walking the runway. She trained at John Casablancas in Colorado and was afforded opportunities to model in Colorado, New York, Michigan, Arizona, California, New Mexico, Tennessee, and the Netherlands. Heidi has experience in many facets of modeling, from print work to runway, editorial to couture, and mannequin to commercial. Along with modeling, she is an actor that has had roles in several commercials, videos, film, reality shows, and was a talk show host. Welcome to our show, Heidi Kuhn.
Thank you so much for having me.
It's good to finally meet you.
Yes, thank you.
So tell us a little bit, we just read your bio. Tell us a little bit about where you've been and what you've been doing.
Okay, well, like you mentioned, I started off when I was just a little girl. I was 5 years old, and I was seen in a department store, and a talent scout came and told my mom that they would love to have me in a fashion show. So that's kind of how that bug was bitten, I guess, for me. And I started out, I enjoyed it, I loved it, I loved being on the runway. And then as I got older, I started to do some print work, and I went to John Casablancas and got some training. And from there, I sort of went on and did different things and went different places.
What did you like better? Did you like acting better, or did you like the print work?
You know, it's kind of a toss-up. It's a little bit of the same. You know, when you're modeling, you're acting, and when you're acting, you're modeling. So I had both the best of both worlds, actually.
I see. So what do you have going on these days?
Well, I've got Model Mastery, which is a business of mine. When I came to Memphis, and I noticed a lot of the models here, or aspiring models, really didn't have the education or knowledge that was needed to become a successful model. And that included poses, or how to walk a runway, or really the education that's needed to be successful.
And that's part of the reason we're here.
Yes.
So we'd like to ask you some questions. We'll talk just briefly about, you know, the selection process, who you look for, and then we have some questions that we'd like to go to.
Great.
So tell us a little bit about what you look for when you're getting ready for a shoot or some production. Tell us what you're looking for in actors or actresses or models. Tell us what you're looking for.
I think an actress or a model really needs to have confidence. I think that's the best thing to bring. If you don't have confidence and you don't believe in yourself, then you're probably not going to get the part. You have to believe that you're the best person for the job.
That can kind of be construed sometimes as being cocky. And
I believe in confidence. You know, you don't want to be cocky or too
Right.
cocky. I mean, being confident is a good thing to have. I think that's a good
Confidence is good,
accessory.
yeah.
Yes.
Cocky,
Yes.
bad. Confidence
Yes.
is good.
Yes.
Well, let's go to our first question, and let's see what's going on there.
Okay.
What should an actor or a model bring to a casting call or a shoot?
Well, as I mentioned, I really think that you need to bring confidence, but you need to be prepared. So you're going to come in, and if it's a casting call, you want to come in and you want to sit down, and you want to make sure that you know what the job is about, and you've got your portfolio in hand, or you've got your contact card in hand, or if you're auditioning for a part, you want to make sure that you know your lines. The one thing you don't want to do is sit down and get your phone out. or start reading something. I mean, you want, because I've been in casting calls where you're in rooms where people are watching you all the time. You may not know that you're being watched, but if you're coming in and you're bringing in drama or anything like that, you want to make sure that you come in and exude confidence, because they're going to see that.
What advice would you have for some of the ladies that get called for casting calls on maybe some seedier productions? There's some warnings that need to go out to people about some things like that.
Absolutely, and it's not just women.
That's true.
It's men too.
Yeah.
I would suggest stay off of Craigslist. I mean, that's one thing you just don't want to do. You know, we often hear of the Craigslist killers, you know, often, and what I always tell aspiring models is you do not have to model nude or semi-nude or in bikinis. That's not a prerequisite to be a successful model. So one of the things that you need to do is just know who you are and what you stand for, and really just have good information about where you're going and who you're auditioning for.
That's good advice. Yeah, even though one of the things that I looked at not too long ago was on Craigslist, but anyway. So.
You just have to be careful. Alive, so you just have to be careful, that's all.
Right. Well, let's go to another question now.
What is the biggest mistake you can make during an audition?
I think one of the biggest mistakes is not knowing, again, who you're auditioning for. And I think that if you're going into an audition and you think that you're the best person that you can be, I think that that's great. You're not always going to get every casting call. You're not ever going to get every part. You have no idea why you may not get that part or that job. Be confident in yourself. It could be that they're looking for somebody different than you. It doesn't mean that you're not a good person or a good model. Is know your craft, know it well, know who you're auditioning for, and know yourself. So be confident.
That is I think that's one of the most irritating parts, to go to a casting call and you feel good about it, you feel like you presented yourself well before the people, and then to never get a call back. And you know, I think that sometimes there should be some kind of a feedback form that people should give. That
would be helpful, you know. But sometimes it might be as minor as maybe the person was too short or too tall, or they wanted a redhead, or you never know. You know, or it could be maybe the director's daughter got the part. Don't beat yourself up when you don't get the part, because maybe you'll get the next one.
That's true.
Okay. Do you have to be 6 feet tall and blonde to get a modeling job?
You do not have to be 6 feet tall and blonde anymore. I have found that as I've grown up, that was sort of the stereotype. Now, I've said I've been doing this for 40 years. I've seen the industry change a little bit. You're seeing more diversity, which I think is great, and you're seeing shorter models, you're seeing different ethnicities. Plus, there's different facets of modeling. So you've got print work and commercial and runway. Not everybody does the same thing. So I think what's great is we are seeing that diversity. So we're seeing shorter models and different ethnicities and heavier models and curvier. And so I would say no, you do not have to be 6 feet tall and blonde to get a job.
So the Barbie doll image is kind of on the way out, huh?
I think so. I think exotic looks, you know, are kind of more popular now. Different looks. You've got to stand out. You've got to look somewhat different than someone else, and you've got to have something that somebody wants. You don't have to be that Barbie doll.
Yeah, because it's unhealthy.
It is unhealthy, right? Yeah. And unfortunately, you know, in the modeling world and in this field, it can be ugly, you know, in regard to body image. And I think we're getting away from that a little bit, which is I'm glad to see.
Need more diversity. That's a good idea. What else would you have? What other advice would you have for aspiring models and actors and actresses?
I think that having an education of it's not always about the model. Sometimes I think people think it's just about being pretty, and it's not about that, because if you get hired, it could be about the client, it could be about the product or the clothes or whatever you are modeling, and it's not about the model. And I think right now, younger and aspiring models are thinking, well, it's just about being pretty in a picture, and that's not what it's about. You have to be really well-rounded, and you have to make sure you have an understanding and the education of the modeling world. So that's why I've created Model Mastery, because it gives them a well-rounded look about what they need to be successful.
Tell us where we can get a hold of you. What is your website?
Well, we're on Facebook, so Facebook is look at Model Mastery, and you can also contact me at heidimkuhn@gmail.com.
All right, we'll put those on the screen for you.
Great.
Before you go, tell us something funny that has happened, either to you or to someone that you've seen. We like to make fun of people. We are an equal opportunity, make fun of people. Kind of, yeah, whatever.
I think that there are two things that come to mind, one kind of sad and one sort of funny. Let me tell you the sad thing first is when I actually went to New York, I was modeling, and this was back when I was 18, so obviously a long time ago. And we were about to do a runway shoot. And they brought all of us into the room, and they had us in our bikinis, and they stood and actually took a Sharpie and circled every flaw that we had on our bodies.
Oh my goodness.
And then decided to give us a dog biscuit as our dinner because there was nutritional value, but it wasn't a lot of food. It was that night that I came back home and decided I don't need to be a part of this anymore. And so for a little while, I decided that I didn't want to model anymore because that was pretty devastating and humiliating. Yeah. And I haven't seen that again. That was pretty traumatic. So that's sort of a funny, sad story.
Yeah.
The funniest story that I can think of is when I was actually doing a runway show. It was about 6 feet drop maybe. And at the end of the runway, the lights were so bright that I actually walked right off the runway.
No.
Face plant. And I twisted my ankle a little bit, but I tried to pop up as quickly as possible. And, you know, of course, everybody, you heard this collective gasp.
Yeah.
But I was fine, and the show went on as it should. But I always warn the models, know where the end is.
That's right. That's right. Well, Heidi, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
We appreciate you coming on the show.
Absolutely.
And we also want to say a special thanks to Miss Pam Beal for allowing us to film in this lovely location overlooking the Mississippi River.